we have to, at some point, get in that creative, relaxed state of mind and then start thinking, what are these assets that I have? What can I work with? Like they said in Apollo 13, what on the ship is working?
Do you feel the pressure to grow your business, but doing so feels a bit like drowning? Welcome to Slow Growth Business, the show for business owners and leaders to quiet the noise and lead your business to success, one day at a time, slow and steady. If you feel your business is running you and you're ready to run it, you've come to the right place. Now, here are your hosts, business coaches Jimmy DeGroot and me, Kyle Bullock. Hello, and welcome to the Slow Growth Business Podcast. I'm Kyle Bullock. Across from me on a little screen is Jimmy DeGroot. Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
You can't see me.
Can't see him. We are your business coaches. We are here to consistently grow your business in sales and revenue and help you feel like you are in control of what you're doing every single week. We don't want you to feel like you're running around with your seat on fire, just trying to put out other fires. We are here to help you consistently grow your revenue and your sales. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm good.
So, it's a lovely day.
I'm excited about the topic today because it's a real challenger. It's a real stumper. And Kyle has done something, folks, that he doesn't usually do, and that's fill me in on what we're going to be talking about today. So that now I had a chance to bite my nails and be all nervous about it. So
yeah, this one comes from a business partner of mine who was talking to me about this problem. So I have taken it, condensed it, removed some of the fine details of the business so that we can just talk about it generally. Because a lot of small businesses are where he is right now, especially because of things like inflation or economic pressures, and they're having a downturn. They're having a moment where the business feels like some things are on fire and I need some help to turn the ship around. And I'm tuning into a slow growth podcast. No, I need a solution now. So how do we fix it and turn the ship around in the concept of slow growth business?
Right.
So let me read to you this case study so that you hear it again and all of our listeners hear it again. And we're going to do what Jimmy and I do one-on-one with clients, and that is help sit down and diagnose a strategy to get them to where they want to go and grow their business consistently with revenue and in sales. You ready?
You bet. I'm ready.
Here we go.
Lay it on me.
Guy says, my tourism business has been affected by less tourism traffic and recently a natural disaster in my area. The last 3 months are down 30% or more from the previous year's months. Staff has had hours reduced and some of the key players have already left or will leave for other job opportunities as a result. I need to get my business back on track. How can a business like this be turned around by the slow growth approach? A solution is needed quick. All right, so I'm putting you on the hot seat, Jimmy. You're up first.
Okay.
How do we turn this one around?
The first thing, and you and I have talked about this before, is we have to get into a place of relaxation and creativity. We're never going to help our situation in a state of high anxiety, in a state of high worry. We make poor decisions. It's just, we survive. We survive because our body tells us to survive, and it teaches us how. It makes those decisions on its own. So we need to get into a relaxed state first so that we can handle this creatively. Next, I just finished Stephen Ambrose's D-Day on Audible. What an incredible undertaking it was for the Allies to invade the coast of Normandy, and how basically our leader, Eisenhower, said, no plan survives contact with the enemy. And I love that because they planned for years. But nothing survives contact with the enemy. All things kind of go out the window. But what does survive, and what happened a lot in D-Day, was the plans got thrown out the window, but the things that these soldiers were trained on, they just did instinctively. So training is key. Beforehand, before the natural disaster, whatever it is, of course, training so that we get everybody into a groove for what's got to be done, so that when it comes time to freak out, we don't have to freak out because we've got our marching orders. Now, the other thing here, and this is the caveat, is can the business be turned around? Is the tourism going to come back? And so that's one big question we have to answer, because otherwise that's a whole new podcast.
Right.
Right. So for this case, we're going to assume that it's going to slowly start coming back. Right.
The thing about tourism businesses is they are very susceptible to big market changes that you really can't control.
Sure.
Right. If the year comes along and there's high inflation and people aren't traveling as much,
right.
Well, that's a hard thing to try to handle. And part of my response is going to be to speak a little bit to that. If you are a tourism business or you rely a lot on tourism, there is this inherent risk with tourism where you're going to face the pressure of the economy that you can't control more likely than you would if you weren't. So we hope that it turns around. But, one of the things he said in his comments was that they recently faced a natural disaster. Well, gosh, how many natural disasters have come along in the country or in the world that, of course, none of them we see coming. And you're one flood away from being set back from a whole year. So you're kind of in this risky proposition where something like that could come around. Yeah. But I'm going to go with your assumption that yes, at least tourism is for this company in that area. We expect it to come back to normal levels, barring some sort of outside crazy force.
Yeah. Kyle, you and I have often heard fellow business owners just say, I just want to leave all this and go and flip burgers, right? Because there's that chaos of normal retail business. The reason I bring that up is because we have to, at some point, get in that creative, relaxed state of mind and then start thinking, what are these assets that I have? What can I work with? Like they said in Apollo 13, what on the ship is working, right? And they worked with what they had to work with duct tape and a square box that had to fit into a round hole. And so what do we have to work with? We've got great people coming through the door on a daily basis. Praise the Lord for that. What can we be thankful for? What can we work with? And then build a plan of growth based upon what you can work with. And you and I've seen it happen to hundreds of jewelry stores during the pandemic. What do we got to work with? We got a parking lot. We've got cell phones and we can text people. We're going to work with that. So that's what I would say is just get to that spot where you can be creative and say, what do we have to work with?
I love that. And it's such a simple, elegant solution of sitting down and just writing down your strengths. What's working? What generates profit? You mentioned D-Day as an example where the Allied forces go on the beaches and it's just, if it could have gone wrong, it did go wrong. But history showed that the Allies took the beach. They still won that battle. You can look at all of the things going on where there's chaos around you. In this case, a business that's feeling less tourism. There's a natural disaster, right? Things that are 30% down from the previous year. Those feel like such chaotic forces that are tearing you apart.
Yeah.
But man, something's got to be working because you're still here. You're still standing. And just to sit down and write that down, I would imagine just doing that gets you into that relaxed state of mind more readily, because you just sit down and you could list 5, 10, then you got to 15 things. It gets easier to list the good things once you get going and you realize, wait a second, I still have a heartbeat in this business.
Well, as long as the world is not falling down, as long as the building is not burning, and as long as there is not a grenade within, 2 feet of you, get in the creative mode and start figuring out, what do we got?
Yeah. But you know what? Even to that point, like you have taught me the value of the relaxed state of mind where, okay, you're right, get rid of the immediate danger.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, if the building burns down, a natural disaster came and it floods you out, all right, give yourself 24 hours to feel sorry for yourself and feel bad about what's happened.
Yep, little pity party.
And then if you're standing up the next day, get to work, get to that relaxed place. I love it.
Wait, and you had said something kind of interesting. Okay, so maybe this could reveal, and if we're looking for like the blessings, right? We're looking for the positive things. Maybe it could reveal in a very recent case that you and I had. Maybe it could reveal a leak. Okay. I don't mean a literal leak. I mean a leak in cash flow or a leak in a product that wasn't working or a leak in a business practice that, you know what? Hey, we're going to kind of regroup. We're going to rebuild, but we're going to do it this way now. You know, and hey, if the building burned down, now I got a chance to really design the building that I want. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, call me a hopeless optimist here, but I've learned in life that you have to do that. If not, you're just going to swirl into a, sea of negativity, and that's no good for anybody.
No, I really believe that, there's that the evolutionary saying that there's a survival of the fittest. Well,
Hmm.
what is the fittest thing today? Is it the physical strength of a person or a business? I think it's adaptability. And if
Hmm.
you can learn to be strong in your ability to adapt to the surroundings around you, that's real resilience and strength.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of what you're saying. Hey, you face these horrible situations or develop a plan that you're going to stick with. Look at what can be turned around that helps you develop that plan and define what's working and get creative doing that. I'm going to piggyback off that because I think that couldn't be a better step one if I could try. I mean, I think that's a brilliant way to get started because it changes your mind from panic mode and reactionary mode, where you're going to make a whole bunch of decisions that are short sighted and
Hmm.
probably make the problem worse. It gets you into a proactive mode. I'm going to help get this company creatively to where I want it to be and dig myself out of this hole with what's working. Once you get there, here's where I'll jump in for this particular case study. Some things we know, it's a tourism business, and a lot of small retail companies, perhaps you're even listening to this, are depending on tourism traffic or that walk by traffic to walk in their store and buy stuff. It's a risky market
Hmm.
because of outside forces. But for another reason, there's a risk to tourism. And you know this one very well, Jimmy, from the world of marketing. The most expensive customer you can get is a new customer. And every tourist that walks in your door is a new customer. They haven't shopped there
Right.
before. Maybe they came to you once before last time they were in town, but they're new people. So you have to heavily invest in marketing. So you have high marketing costs and or you have to pay high rent because you got to be in a really good location to get tourism traffic. So you're going to have these really high costs to try to get new traffic. And the higher those costs get, the less margin you have to operate your business. And they're the most expensive customers that you can get. It's not
Hmm.
to say you can't build a tourism business. It's just another risk of tourism.
Sure.
Even a tourism business affected by a disaster, which I'm sure is affecting tourism, and their income is down 30% from the previous year. Once you get into that relaxed state of mind, I would chime in. The place you should look is at your inventory, which is either the products you sell or the services you sell. If you're offering tours or services of some kind, what are you actually providing people? And get a creative look at that after you've gotten to what Jimmy said in that relaxed place. Be pretty objective. You just did a video on our platform, Jimmy, that I love, which is about not having an emotional connection with your inventory.
Right.
I loved it because your inventory or your services that you provide, they're just an investment. That's all they are. It's your investment in in the investment you have on your shelf or on your menu is what's providing you the resources to survive and put food on your table. And if sales are down, the first place that I'm going to start really sniffing around is in what am I providing people?
Right.
Am I providing a service that tourists would like? Great. But if the tourists aren't there, heck, even if the tourists are there, no matter what, I want to go after traffic that I know that I can get back over and over again because the most affordable customer I can get is the recurring customers, the one that who've already
Right.
shopped with me and loves me.
Yeah.
And if you're depending on tourism to fuel your business, look at your inventory and ask yourself, what appeals to the local? what appeals to the person who lives down the block from me? And am I getting them to come through the door? That answers two big problems for tourism companies. One, it helps with your cash flow. Because if you got locals coming in Monday through Thursday
Mm-hmm.
and tourists coming in Friday through Sunday, well, 4 days of the week, you're getting recurring traffic, and 3 days of the week, you're getting new traffic. Well, most of the time, you're getting recurring traffic, and so you're going to probably have better cash coming through the door. The second problem that it solves is it solves a marketing problem. Marketing is expensive for new customers. Well, what's the thing that you do when you travel, Jimmy? We both travel a fair amount for what we do. So when you go out of an airport, you grab an Uber and you're driving to the hotel, I'm sure you ask the same question I do. Hey, where do you like to eat?
Yep.
What do you like to do?
Where's a good place for ribs around here?
They're a local, right? The locals
Yep.
will talk about the places they go to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if your name doesn't come up because they don't go to your place, in fact, how many times have you gotten into an Uber, you're at a city or somewhere, you ask a local for advice and they tell you, well, you can go to such and such place, but that's really touristy.
Mm-hmm.
Like a
Right.
negative,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
They want to send you where they go. And you want the recurring traffic because the best type of advertisement you can get is word of mouth.
You bet.
So
You
this
bet.
goes back to my solution is
And it's the
look at your
cheapest.
inventory.
And
Yeah.
it's the cheap.
Look at your inventory and consider, what do I offer the local? What events favor the locals? What services favor the locals? How do I market to my recurring customers
Mm-hmm.
to get them back through the door?
And I'm going to add to that with a little bit more frosting here. And you had talked about the asset of recurring customers, customers that love you. And so we've got to be a little bit forward thinking here. And that is, let's just say we're selling t-shirts in Estes Park, Colorado. Give you an example, okay? We're selling t-shirts. We got a nice little store. We got some pretty cool t-shirts. People are coming in. They like the look of the store. They've been, you've invested in some really good log woodwork, and it looks really Colorado-y. It's really cool. So I'm gonna buy these t-shirt. This t-shirt is amazing. Yeah, it's $40, but I don't care. It's really cool. I'm on vacation. I want to bring this experience home. I want people to look at it and say, oh, you were at Estes Park. Cool. Even though that person might be from Montana or that person might be from Texas, we need to love and give these people an experience like they are right down the street. Okay. And the reason I say that is because if we skimp on that, you talked about the investment of our inventory. Now we've got to have a pleasant place for people to walk into. It's got to look good. It's got to smell good. We got to have the cool tunes going. So there's a lot of investment there, and it's expensive, like you said, to get that first time customer. But what if we loved every customer? And when I say love, I'm talking about give them a wow experience. That's what they're there for anyway, an experience. They can buy t-shirts online, but the reason they're going to buy your $40, $50 t-shirt is because of the experience you give. So let's take that experience and make it so memorable that when a big flood happens or something happens in Estes Park where, big fire or something like that, people that were scheduled to come there or maybe had been there, you can still reach out to them and say, hey, just want you to know, here's what's going on. And you got that customer. It's still a recurring customer, even though they live in Texas, and they might want to help bail you out. They might want to buy a t-shirt to help keep your business going, or they may want to, whatever. There's a lot of really neat reasons there. So that is an asset not to be overlooked. And like you said, treat them like they're locals and love on them so that you do have an asset in the future, which is that relationship, which you can sell them something.
I love it. Make the experience for the tourist who's walking through your door as memorable as the rest of the trip. They want to talk about and tell a story to their friends. When they get home, their friends go, what'd you do in such and such place? Well, I saw this and saw that. Are you on that list of things that you gave them an experience that they go, this was amazing. This was so...
You got to go see Kyle's t-shirt shop.
Right.
Man, he's playing guitar in there. He's singing songs, that type of thing.
I'll give you a perfect example, trying to capstone on this. We were in Chicago once. Jimmy and I both traveled. Our wives came with us. We had dinner. at this lovely little restaurant. And then my wife and I had scheduled ourselves to go to a magic show, right? You remember this?
Yep.
So we go to this magic show, and it's a special show because the guy who runs it in the basement of this, like the basement of a restaurant. And he only sells 40 tickets per night, period. That's it. In downtown Chicago, right? Little basement, little tiny room, does up close magic. And I'm a big magic nerd.
Mm-hmm.
I go and see the show, and the experience from the moment I walked in to the moment I left was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, his show brought us to tears. I'm not even exaggerating. Now, how did I know about this guy? Well, because I'm a magic nerd. I've heard about it through word of mouth. I'm a tourist in Chicago. I've been to Chicago a few times, but I knew about this guy through word of mouth. Left with such an incredible experience. The next morning, I see Jimmy. We see your wife. The first thing we tell you, Jimmy, you guys have got to get tickets to the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're selling it because the experience is so incredible. I sold my dad to go see the show when he was in Chicago, and his brother went to go see it. I think I've sold you. I should get commission for just sharing this guy's story.
I know you should. You should.
The Magic Parlor in Chicago. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Look, the point I'm making in the story is when you're taking an approach to slow growth business, once you get in that relaxed state of mind and you start thinking creatively about how to dig yourself out, the place you can look is to the recurring customer, which is going to be defined by the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to also be defined by your product. You have to have something to sell. You have to have something that people want to know about and want to have.
It's all got to be memorable. Yep.
Once you get into that place where you're going, I'm going to get recurring business over and over again. Now you're creating cash flow that digs you out of that I'm down 30% from the previous year situation and into a place where you're going, I have an established business that even if I have a natural disaster, I can still hang on. By the way, this magician I talk about, he has a physical show. You go see this show, sleight of hand. When COVID came along, you know what he did? He couldn't do it in person. So he would hire himself out on Zoom, and he created a whole Zoom show that you could have a private Zoom party with you and your best friends on Zoom.
Sure.
And he ran his business online, kept his doors open. And then when COVID was over, he had done so he could expand. He expanded his business after a disaster came.
Wow.
Because he honed in on that recurring traffic situation. He turned the tides around even in the midst of a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
I love that example. Love that example.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is what we love to do. Jimmy and I love to take big, hairy problems like this, sit down and help people not only dig themselves out of the hole, but get to a place where they feel like they're consistently growing the business in a relaxed and creative place. Because I love it when our clients come to us with these bright ideas that they feel free enough to try because they're in a healthy place. Here's how I want to end it. We want to give you resources to do that. We have a training platform in management and in sales. And on this one, I'm going to encourage our listeners to go to our management platform, trainretailmanagement.com. We have videos that help you get a relaxed state of mind and then think creatively. In fact, we just put one out a couple weeks ago about how you can take old inventory that may be just kind of dead on the shelf and restructure that to get that out your door and turn it into profit. I'm about to do a video. I think even today I'm going to cut one and have it released soon about how you take the profits of old stuff and use it to grow your business. Listen, every single week we're putting something out there that we believe so strongly will help your business grow. I would be happy to guarantee it. You can cancel anytime.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, we want to give it to you for free. It's $200 a month, but we're going to get the whole catalog free for the first month. You can literally go on there, watch every video that we have posted on that management platform in the first month, take crazy notes and get it all for free. You go to trainretailmanagement.com. You're going to subscribe and use the code free month. All one word, free month. If you don't get your value out of it in the first 2 videos, I mean, then we've done something wrong. Cancel.
Let us know what we did wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, it's the same way with trainretail.com, which is, by the way, you can get the Train Retail Management through trainretail.com. There's a sales platform, exact same thing. You can use the first 3 months or the first 30 days. Hey, you know what? It's getting close to Christmas time. Go on, use the stuff, try it out for 30 days, show it to your team, see if one little thing doesn't improve. And if it doesn't, cancel away. And if it does, stay on board. We'd love to have you.
So listen, if you've been listening to this and you are in a situation like my business partner was, where you're down, you're feeling stressed, we want to put you in a relaxed state of mind. Go take our courses for free because we love helping our clients generate more profit, more sales consistently through their business, so that their business is no longer running them, but they are running their business. Till next time.
Again, yeah.
We hope you leave this episode a little better than when you first began. If you'd like more resources to grow your business slow, steady, and consistently, check out our on-demand video catalog at trainretail.com. Or if you have a question or frustration we can help address in your business, write to us about it. We love to help solve big, ugly problems. So hit us up at kyle@trainretail.com or jimmy@trainretail.com. Good luck out there, and we will see you next time.